brought to you by Knights of Awakening. This is the Labyrinth. This episode is also brought to you by the amazing and awesome questions brought to us by our fans and listeners. I asked a few days ago if anyone had any questions that I could cover in a video format as a topic for discussion, and I got a lot of responses, some of which are a little bit too big to cover in a single show. I'd really need a series of shows. Likewise, I would definitely need much superior camera equipment to do full rituals on the show, because frankly, it takes really good equipment for a ritual not to look silly in terms of just the seriousness of it. You know, your standard webcam just really doesn't do it for that. And honestly, I do most of my rituals as you see me here. I wear my Mjolnir. I may or may not wear my ring, which I keep on my keys so that I have it at all times, depending on how much power I need in a ritual. I carry my staff and other things like that, and I don't really look any more impressive or fantastic like that. And it really kind of gives Magick a bad name when you don't go with the theatrics, as funny as that's going to sound, and do a live video, because the backfire and backlash on that is invariably extreme. People tend to poke a lot of fun at what you look like when you're doing full ritual. That said, we may do a full ritual or two in the future. A lot of ritual for me is shamanic journey, so a lot of it, to give you a preview of it, it'll look like this. See that? The reason I say it's because a lot of shamanic journey happens over there. Your body itself stays in rest. So I'll be hitting more on that throughout these questions and answers, okay? The first one, and this is in no particular order. I grabbed these. I actually shared everything off of the Rosequartz Labyrinth instead of off of KOA, so that I could more easily get access to it, because we don't update as fast as KOA does sometimes. So it allowed me to then be able to come back and get to the message, hit the share button, and look through these questions for you. So the first one, in no particular order: what do you mean exactly to have first an established connection with Odin before you ask for anything? The person was just curious. And, I answered in there about making offerings and showing respect. And I put here a reminder to myself to go over offerings to Odin and Njord, and general offerings and understandings in this episode. So, offerings. What does it mean to have a connection first? Making a connection is all about building a relationship with a god or goddess. Making offerings on a daily or semi-regular basis. Scratch that. Regular basis. Daily or regular. I don't really care which. They don't really overly care which, except for the thing is, if once a week you light a candle to Odin, Odin is going to treat you the same way I would if once a week, you bought me a bag of chips. I would be grateful enough that I might extend some favor upon you. I probably wouldn't get you a new car, and I probably wouldn't, come save your life for that. You're building a relationship with a god or goddess in the same way that you build a relationship with a person, and those offerings are a very, very focused way of making a phone call for all intents and purposes. You're calling them on the phone and letting them know you care. The degree of the offering doesn't matter as much as the intent in your heart. How you truly express yourself through your heart is going to express your energy. It's going to express what you really feel. So false offerings don't do anything for you. If you are trying to butter Odin up, it'll work a little bit, because Odin does appreciate good sacrifice, but you're going to be applying a lot of butter before you get anywhere. And even then, truly being a follower and having built that connection, because that's the other side of it, is when you do these offerings, you should be looking to make a connection in your soul. From a magic standpoint, offerings are not a very efficient way to gain power. There are about 1,000 other ways, from drawing on ley lines, communing with local spirits, drawing on natural energies in your area, techniques reminiscent of Qigong or Tai Chi, or 1,000 other things, yogic and pranic breathing, you know, the list is endless of ways to gain energy, and it's more efficient for raw power purposes. So what I'm getting at with the offerings is you want to have already built this connection for the right reasons, and either you have a strong connection to these gods or you don't. But if you've already got a strong connection to the Norse as a whole, that's going to extend to all of the gods, even if you're not as connected to one god or the other. And the offerings are a way of bridging that and saying, look, I need to work with you more. There are ways around that too. You can give the gods something they really want. And this gets into something along the lines of pact making, which we'll get into. There's some questions on that. This will be a little bit more helpful by the time we get to that. Okay, the next question. Well, real quick before I end the first question. Odin and Njord, general offerings that are good for them. Odin loves mead. He loves meat. He loves blood sacrifices. Blood sacrifice doesn't have to be going out and killing something with your own two hands. But if you do, make sure that you cook and eat whatever you kill as well, and invite him to share in the flavor and the taste. You know, holding a feast in any of the gods' honor, is a really, really good offering. It's a really excellent and valid way of gaining favor, not just through that favor itself, but by a connection to them. Njord prefers offerings of the sea. Seashells, fresh seawater, seafood would be good examples. Beyond that, be creative. You know, make a puppet and stuff it with seaweed and seashells and burn it as an offering to Njord. The more you put in emotionally and in your time and in your sense of self to this, the more impact it's going to have. You're building a connection. This is not paying a hitman to get something done for you, though. Recognize that. If you aren't building the connection and you're just hoping for only the result, yeah, you'll get the result. They may even be beneficial at first, but without that connection, you're likely to piss them off the same way you would with me if you were offering me trinkets to do work. Now, the other side is if you can give them something they really want, bringing them recognition or glory or fame, that might do better for you. So that you know, almost half of all pacts that I write up for people, the gods ask for them to say something about them, someone, nice and kindly, as part of the pact. And I started noticing that. So, you know, recognize what's useful and valuable to them as well. Alright, this next one was a request on invoking Odin. I'm not going to invoke Odin live at any point. I'm not going to bring him in and manifest his personality and traits. Evoking with that's way beyond a single question, but I appreciate the thought in this. And what we'll do is we'll talk about signs, because one thing is to have signs on video, and signs are something that may happen in 1 out of every 5 evocations, though there's always small signs. When you're dealing with fire, you'll see signs within the fire that show you that you have success. But moreover, your signs usually come after an evocation, the form of ravens being more present for Odin, or wolves or wolf-like dogs being more present. I guess the best example of a sign I have is I once asked Odin to show me his presence and tell me what it was I owed him for a favor that I'd requested, and he did. He did so through the words of another person in effect to how I addressed him. That is a long story, but the gods speak through people. They speak through events. So you have to look for those events and look for those people that are bringing you a message that's out of the ordinary for them. That's how they answer your questions. That's how they make themselves known. You know, if you get a god to manifest fully and in the flesh, someone has pulled probably a great trick on you. Punch the person in the nose and see if they bleed. If they do, they're not a god, because you're not that strong. If they don't you were given some very interesting mushrooms in dinner the night before with your spaghetti, and you need to get to a hospital just in case, or ride it out. So that kind of answers that, I hope. I went over offerings a little bit. Evocation of Odin really is a matter of proper symbols, and in my experience, Odin is a much more shamanic-focused god. So a lot of what you do is going to be chanting around a fire or chanting internally. It's going to have a lot more to do with connecting to the flow of the forces that are Odin and getting yourself in the proper state than traditional ritual magic. Ritual magic to work with Odin, the ritual is there to give your mind something to do while your spirit does something else, which is the connection part, and your mind does something else, which is the connection part. So I don't know if that clears it up, and if not, I can do a more in-depth episode on that in the future. Alright, we have another question here. What is the difference between an oath and a pact? I told you I'd get to that in a second. With an oath, you are swearing to yourself. And you are the thing holding you to it. You are the force of will. So if you screw up, you're the one who's going to beat your own ass on some level. And this is from a mystical standpoint. The difference between an oath and a pact is that it's an agreement between the self and another person. But from a mystical standpoint, when you swear an oath to yourself, when you swear an oath to anything else, you are making a promise that if you break, you're expecting a repercussion either from the self or from that other force for that. And the oath has intrinsic value in and of itself because it means something to you. A pact is an oath in which, by following this oath, by following the agreements laid down in, you are provided a reward. You are giving up via oath part of your freedom in some capacity to gain reward or to gain power of some kind in a form of pact. It is an agreement between two sides instead of a one-way agreement. They're both very powerful things. You swear an oath to protect someone, and that will give you power because you will draw on the powers within yourself and within the universe to do this. So that oath is swearing through the soul, where a pact is swearing through conditions, and they have a lot of gray areas in this. Within a pact, one of the biggest ones is always people saying, well, can I sell my soul for $1? And yes, I am purchasing at $1 per soul. No, seriously, selling your soul is a lot harder than you would think because you are your soul. You have primary dominion. This is kind of like selling your time in that respect. You sell your soul already if you have a job. I sell my soul to Magick. I sell my soul to the KOA. Justin Bain has a 50% share in my soul. I mean, sorry about that. But no, seriously, you sell your soul to the things you love. And in that, at any point you can revoke it. No one can make you go to work. No one can make you do your study and your ritual. What are they going to do? How are they going to stop your will? Your soul is the animate force of your will that drives your body through your mind. I do a tarot card reading that will help sum this up a little bit. I do a tarot card reading called the Hammer of Thor Tarot Card Reading. If you're looking for it, just go through the Master's Choice and make a note. If you're ever in my shop and you'd like to see this thing in action. It's an awesome little reading. I usually do it written. Not doing any live ones right now because it takes a lot to schedule time and therefore it costs me and you more. But in this, the reading starts at the soul. That's the first card I read. Because everything you do begins in the soul, in the spirit, in the essence of who you are. No one can take that away from you. No one can chain it forever and no one can destroy it. So therefore no one can own it but you. It is you. And if you rebel against that ownership, then you're breaking that pact right there. So in selling your soul, you're giving your free will and freedom to another being. And you're agreeing to be indentured to them. That is selling your soul in that respect. You can break that any time. Let's rewind real quick then. You can break any oath or pact at any time and see the repercussions thereof. Nothing holds you to that permanently. And if you want to know about an oath breaker, one of my favorites is Odin. he double-crosses anybody he needs to get where he needs to get done what he needs to get done. Loki likewise. Hell, even Thor. Thor sleeps in the giant's glove. I would have to look up the story to get it right, because I am terrible with pronunciations of these things. But Utgard Loki, the story of Utgard Loki, when they run across this giant and they find him in the wild, and he needs somewhere to sleep, and they think that his glove is a cave. Okay, he agrees, and that's an oath. Okay, that's an oath. That's a pact, even, to do this giant no harm through the night. And as he's laying there trying to sleep, the giant's snoring, and he goes, "You know what? This is why I have a hammer." And he tries to kill him. Why? Because he can. Oaths are as important as your sense of honor is, and the stronger your sense of honor, the more power you'll gain from an oath. Pacts are the same way. If you break pacts frequently, beings will give you as much weight to your pact as they do, well, as you do. And therefore they will help you as much as they trust it's worth their time. By holding your end of the pact, or doing a ritual of the pact, if something where there's long-term, you do this, we do that, you will build up a better relationship with them. Most pacts, in my experience, have a way of building up a stronger connection with the being. The being offers something there. So, you should understand, since the soul can be revoked, and since any pact or oath can be broken with consequence, you're not really selling your soul in the same way I could, sell my beard. Just so that you know, anyone who's looking to buy my beard, my wife has priced it at $50,000 for me to shave it and send it to you. You invoice my PayPal, $50,000, you too could have this red fluffy beard. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to get rid of it. So, it's different than buying my beard. You're trying to buy my soul, you're buying my time. So, in essence, you buy and sell soul all the time, just in different amounts. So, I hope that helps with the whole pact versus oath thing. They're very, very similar. The difference is that one is only incumbent upon yourself and expects nothing else in return except for the value of upholding it. Alright, this next one, my favorite question ever. Can you please tell me the football team's lottery numbers? Best place to gamble, best time to go to bingo. Through the power of divination. No. But here's why. Here's why. You're dealing with things where a lot of people's will is already in play, and everyone involved wants to win, and no one wants it to be rigged. Let me make this a little more clear. No one wants it to be rigged. Not just you and a dozen other people at your bingo parlor. Not just me and the 10 billion lottery ticket purchases. No one wants it to be rigged, except for you at that moment, and the other person wants it rigged for them, and the other person wants it rigged for them. So, you have nothing to put pressure on this that could compare to the amount of spiritual, energetic pressure of the billions of people that want this to be fair and even. They want a shot. They want it to be luck. And they are going to override you. Okay? Even Thor does not arm wrestle everyone all at once on Earth. A lightning bolt requires less raw energy than it would to change the will of every single person on Earth. Really think about that, okay? If you split a lightning bolt between every person on Earth, the amount of power remaining would not be enough to get their attention. It takes less power to strike someone dead with lightning than it does to win the lottery. The last question we got is, what is the true role of crystals in magic? Wow, what a huge question, and yet what a simple answer. They're focusing aids for channeling energy in some capacity. They help you direct your attention like any other tool. And they have certain properties built into them that either, and we don't know which one this is, either is empowered by the masses of people that believe in the crystals, or that is inherent due to their structure physically, we don't know, and we can't be sure. I could actually answer the runes the same way. What is the true role of the runes in mysticism? You know, they are empowered by the masses to have an intent now that is very easy to pick up and use. And in that empowering, we don't know if it's the people empowering them or if it's their natural energetic properties that come into the fore. This gets into the mass energetic output of humanity every single day. So the true roles of crystals in mysticism are the roles that they're defined in as a way of storing, channeling, transmitting, or manipulating energy. And actually, if I drop those others, no one can hold that finger up very easily. No, not that finger, this one. So that everyone sees I'm not flipping you the bird. I'm actually flipping the finger next to the pinky before I flip everyone off on camera here. With this manipulating energy, whether it is to store the intent in the crystal or to let it flow through, it's still manipulation, whether it's to affect the environment around it. My experience with crystals is that they do what they do regardless. So I believe that there's a structural component to this, a vibrational component. But I can't prove that any more than anyone else. You know how I hate using science terminology, as I just did right there, to make it look as if though I have an answer that I don't. But, from my years of experience, and this is a valuable but for you on this, a crystal is going to do what it does. And every crystal has what they do naturally, but then every crystal is unique. I've seen quartz that has, for some reason, resonates really well as a defensive shield. I've seen quartz that resonates really well as an amplifier. Tourmaline, tourmaline, there we go, pronunciations for the day. Tourmaline is another good one. I've seen it, its natural properties are as a shield, and I've seen it work great as a shield, but I've seen it also work great as a healing aid, as a destructive amplifier. It all depends on the crystal, and every crystal is unique in that respect, but they always have their core property. Like tourmaline will always be good for shielding, but then sometimes it's also really good for destruction too. For whatever reason, that crystal has a resonance to it. So you have its core, and then you have each individual piece. And this is why we're so picky with our crystals as mystics. It's why we go to crystal shops and go, ooh, that's nice. It's why we pick things out by hand so much, or we order in bulk and then pick through and sort through where we want each thing and hang on to the pieces we want and gift or sell the ones we don't. That's a part of mysticism in it. And I hope that that answers the true role of crystals in magic. They're an amplifier, they're a focusing aid. They have some innate properties. They're not necessary. They are no more necessary than the drawing or diagram. They are no more necessary than the wand or the staff or the sword or the knife or the cup or the candle. These are focusing aids, and yes, I use them too, because I also use a fighting staff if someone jumps me on the street. Just because it's an aid does not mean it has no value. So I hope that answers that question. We've actually run out of questions, and I'm way past the time that I wanted this video to run. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember, if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe it. Get it out there. Make it so that people get a chance to see the answers to these questions. Ask me more questions. You know, give me ideas on what you'd like to see in shows. I'm not doing full rituals right now. I love the idea. I don't have the setup for it to give you a video that would be at my standard. This video is not at my standard, but it's as good as I can do. Again, thank you for watching. You know, thank you for your time. Thank you for the energy you put in by asking these questions and for practicing mysticism. I hope that this helped in some way, and as always, awaken the night within.